Hello and welcome to Walk the Pod, your daily walking show where I take my podcast for a walk because I don't have a dog. You're very welcome along. Welcome to episode 4, series 44 of the daily walking podcast that invites you to step away from your desk to spend 10 minutes in nature and experience the mental and physical health benefits of doing so. My name is Rachel Wheely, a human in the world walking around a park behind a hospital, highly relieved. Some stuff I was working on over the last week has just finished, gone out, been published into the world, and so you catch me on the exhale. I've been encouraged by friends of the show to share how I feel at the beginning of the episode in order to talk about whether the walking helps by the end. I feel relieved at the beginning of the episode and very tired, and I trust that 10 minutes from now I will still feel relieved and very tired, but also somewhat refreshed by the rain that is pattering all around. Thank you to everybody who fed back on the series so far, some of whom said, apologies, gosh, that music's incredibly distracting. Some who said, gosh, that episode with no music on it was much better. So here we are, no music for the time being, at least until I can work out how to do it in a less distracting way. Thank you for bearing with. It's not the most beautiful day in the world, I'm going to be honest. It is the mizzest day in the world. It is grey. It is there is splatty rain falling everywhere. It is pretty well one of those days where if it wasn't for recording a podcast, there's no way I'd be out here walking around the park. So thank you for walking with me, because the mental and physical health benefits of doing so are available to me, despite the fact that it feels pretty wet to actually do it. And I've just come across a puddle which is too big to navigate. Have I ever walked through a puddle live on the podcast before? I'm not sure. I'm trying it, and my shoes are not watertight enough to do so. I made it through, dear friends. I made it through. That was a big actual live exhale for you. And actually, one of the things that I want to talk about today, because we're talking about constancy, and one of the things I want to talk about today is the emotional difficulty of constancy. So we know, don't we, that returning to the same people and things and recommitting to them and making a go of things over a number of years is a really, really good way to build build the benefits of life. I mean, I think what I've been trying to talk about so far this series is, if I do the same job for a number of years, or if I live in the same place for a number of years, or if I maintain the same relationships for a number of years, those relationships and jobs and homes benefit from time spent on them and in them. And the difficulty of constancy is the fact that our emotions get in the way, and our bodies get in the way sometimes, and our brains get in the way. So we want to continue with our job, but we're too frustrated, we're too angry, we're too dejected by some of it, or too overwhelmed, or too underwhelmed, too burnt out, or perhaps we want to stay in the same place, but actually we get annoyed with the traffic outside or the neighbours or what have you. The concept of rage quitting sort of springs to mind. And managing our own emotions is maybe the key to constancy, if we want to exist like that. Some people, admittedly, are not trying to be constant. Some people are quite happy changing a lot, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that either. But if you are trying to maintain the same things and recommit to the same things and people and work and hobbies and jobs and loves and interests and curiosities? How do we maintain control over our emotions? Well, I've got an idea today, which is the uncertainty journal. Now, I'm entering into a very uncertain period at work at the moment, and I've decided to keep an uncertainty journal. And what that means is having a notebook dedicated to writing down how it's going, how I'm feeling about it, my worries and concerns, my hopes and dreams, if I'm going to be more optimistic about it, and just to track those and to keep them all in one place so that I can look back over them as things actually happen and truth appears and emerges, in order to go, well, that was a period of uncertainty, but by journaling through it, I got through it. And I have no doubt that it will end up all right, even, one way or the other. I may end up somewhere else, but I hope not to end up somewhere else. I hope I'm going to get through it and come out the other side and all is going to be well. And what I want to do is just sort of narrate that for myself. So that's my constancy thought for you today. As usual, very, very excited to hear what you think about constancy and if this is resonating for you at all as a topic, and if you want to talk about it and if you have any thoughts about it, please let me know. You can go to walkthepod.com, press the button mark, leave a voice note for Walk the Pod, and you are then able to leave me 90 seconds of your beautiful voice telling me anything you want to tell me about constancy. If you're a member of the Walk the Pod Lunchtime Walk Club, you can send me a WhatsApp. Ask for my number if you don't have it. Send me a WhatsApp with a longer message, and if you want to join the Walk the Pod Lunchtime Walk Club, you can do that via walkthepod.com as well, pressing the button marked join the club instead of the one marked leave a voice note. But why not do both? Why not do both? I was getting a bit worried when I was recording that bit because there was sort of thunder rumbling overhead, and I keep saying how there's very few rainy days recording the podcast in the grand scheme of things, but what I'm experiencing right now is this may in fact be a very, very rainy week. It's not even April yet. What I can see directly in front of me is the ground because it's too wet to look straight ahead. Lots of wet daffodils, lots of things with raindrops on them. It's wet and mid and puddly and cold. But having said all of that, it's not too cold, and I've got layers on, so it feels manageable. And the rain is splatty rain, which we have discussed before. There's a type of rain in our rain index. There's a few pigeons flying around. That was my zip, by the way, just zipping up my jacket slightly. I'm tempted to zip it up more, but then my mouth would be covered and then you wouldn't be able to hear me. There's a bus going past in the background, and a few people on a bench resolutely smoking, despite the fact that they're getting absolutely soaked in the meantime. What can you see directly in front of you? You don't have to send me a voice note about constancy. You could send me a walking report instead. We haven't had one of those for a little while. walkthepod.com for your walking reports, please. At least I'm walking on a metalled road. It's not. I love talking about roads, like a metalled road. Metalled road isn't a thing that anybody says. What I mean is it's a tarmacked road. But at least I'm walking around a tarmacked road and I'm not in the mud, because there's a lot of mud around as well. Do you remember I talked to you about the tyre tracks yesterday? Well, those tyre tracks are now chevrons full of water, little arrow-shaped puddles all the way through the mud. And my hand is getting very cold holding my phone to record as well. Thank you for walking with me, dear friends. It's been an absolute delight to stretch my legs with you this lunchtime. Particularly grateful today because it's a very, very busy day at work. Delighted to have the opportunity to get outside for 10 minutes despite everything that's happening, despite the busy day. And in fact, because of the busy day, it's even more important to get away from the desk, away from the keyboard, away from the screen, and just rest the eyes, rest the brain. And it does always feel like a huge kind of decompression to get out here and talk to you. So very grateful to you for coming with me. Take care of your beautiful mind. Look out for glimmers of joy in this imperfect day. And I look forward to bringing you our first Friday episode of this series tomorrow.